Recently, iDubbbz's and Ethan Klein have been going back and forth bringing up their worst hits from the past, with Ethan going on his Instagram and posting multiple stories about comments iDubbbz made back in 2015, and iDubbbz referencing Ethan's recently unearthed pedo_troll account on Reddit. Along with this though, it's inspired people to look into Anisa's past, when one user on the H3 subreddit found an old video that Anisa put on her channel, where in it she walks around a public mall with a giant wet spot between her legs. The Reddit user describes it as her peeing herself and saying that Anisa is engaging in fetish content, but Anisa responded to it denying the allegations, saying it was just a harmless skit. However, Ethan himself jumped in, pointing out some comments that Anisa liked on the original YouTube video many years ago, where other users talked and joked about it being a fetish. And this accumulated to Ian saying on stream that he's probably done talking about Ethan Klein. Welcome to the internet versus Ethan Klein's and iDubbbz's past. So we already made a video going over Ethan's secret alt, showing Ethan's response to the situation and such. It'll be linked in the description if you haven't seen it already. But it starts when Not Writing Keys posted this on the H3 Production subreddit with the caption, "Reminder that Anisa has a walk of shame fetish video where she involves unsuspecting families and their children in her sexual content as she walked through a mall pissing her pants." Attaching this image here of Anisa along with this one of people in the video. June Moon Loon says, "The Jomas love pissing and shitting themselves." And Sex Farm Woman replies, "I've noticed that she brings up pissing a lot. Like she was always mentioning someone pissing their pants. I would guess it's just an immature bad habit, but she does it so much that I, someone who's seen very little of her content, noticed it. It's weird." And Salvagerm replies, "Makes sense. I have a piss kink and I mention pissing a lot in casual/non-sexual conversation." Pink Hydrangea says, "So the psychosexual accusations that she quickly throws around seem like they might be projection?" And Oceanmore replies, "It always is with these people." And Big Guthic says, "This is the type of shit that would get you locked up in Trump's second term, and she was bold enough to do it during his first." Vibe Thriver says, "To play devil's advocate, I just saw the video, not funny, didn't laugh, and it seems pretty clear it's not a fetish video or some sort of adult walk of shame type video. It's clearly a skit. Anisa and some sort of character has a moment in the story where she can't go to the public restroom and pathetically pisses her pants, which is the joke. It seems sort of clear that the pee is most likely water. Again, it's water, however the main point of the concern is involving strangers, filming families and young children as they look at your supposedly fake piss-soaked denims." And SweetQ95 says, "To be fair, the whole point of fetish bait is that there's plausible deniability. A more extreme example is those family vlog channels that post a video of them taking their kids to the pool or eating a banana or something. They can say it's just supposed to be a cute moment or family outing, and that's technically true, but they also have to know there's going to be pedos sharing the videos around to give them extra clips and revenue. So sure, it might be a skit, but she's also liking comments pointing out the fetish baited nature of it, so she has to be aware of it." Anisa then sees this and responds to it on her Instagram story, screenshotting the post and saying, "Did I make a cringe skit that was meant to be a comedic comment on the links we go to avoid public bathrooms? Yes. Was it fetish content? Absolutely not. This was in like 2017-ish. I didn't start any salacious content until 2020. This is just a public YouTube video where I used water as a part of a sketch. It's not real. It wasn't intended to be anything else, and I find it disturbing people are projecting that onto it." Over on Leftovers H3, Seaweed Extract posts this story with the caption, "Anisa's story responds to foot fungi taking an old sketch out of context." And Tadlock Glasses replies, "Remember when Pedo Troll was humping plushies or whatever?" And Deadlock Gunslinger says, "And the numerous times he's pretended to eat shit?" And Deli Slut replies, "I bet he hasn't just pretended, given his obsession with shit." And Taco in Space replies, "I mean, he's eating shit every day now." Gooey Goon says, "IMO, if you think this is fetish content, that is a self-report." And Diaspat replies, "Seeing a video where someone pees themselves and immediately thinking that it was made for someone to JO to is insane. And Ethan has more than 10 old-ass videos where he eats fucking shit, so I don't know what's worse, peed myself in public or Ethan's obsession with stuffing his face with human excrement." This story is also posted by Spare Conflict on the H3 Production subreddit with the caption, "Anisa must be on this sub a lot. She responded to this post within 2 hours." And Rarglar replies, "Everyone say hi, Anisa. Get a job, girly." And Short Stuff Slough says, "She has yet to name one skill she has." And Big Gothics replies, "Remember when she had to ask Ian what to describe her job at CC was because she didn't know what to say?" Right March says, "OMG, it's rules for thee but not for me with these people." And the Seabass replies, "Yup, that is a central point in all of this. She is allowed to make a comedic cringe videos that don't land, but anyone else? Nope. It's fucking transparent how much she and her husband projected day to day. Also, hi Anisa. Anisa. And I Got Nothing A says, yes, class. Ignore the people at the back today. She's here to watch and report to others about us. But first, everyone say hello to Anisa. Hi, Anisa. Tangled Weeb says, look, I knew it was water from the start, but if you walk around with what looks like pants that you peed in, you are walking around in peed pants. There is no difference between the two. People perceive it the exact same. I'll give her grace that it's not intended as fetish content though. I thought the title was too salacious personally. Again though, someone perceived it that way and she liked the comments, so. And with that being said, Nearby Can also posted this screenshot on the H3H production subreddit with the title, Anisa not even taking 2 seconds to see that her second top comment on the video that she liked is calling it fetish content. But somehow OP is projecting. And it's a screenshot from her video and then a comment from Ultra Quality that says, this was really funny, but I'm almost positive this is a fetish, with 137 likes and Anisa liking it herself. And Rargler says, Anisa might actually take Denim's crown as a queen of cell phones. And OP says, yeah, it's really embarrassing at this point. And PC Zhao says, which is a feat since she tried to dunk a guy only to get into a fight with VTubers. Ethan Klein then took to Instagram to respond to iDubbbz's talking about his pedo troll account along with all the stuff that we just looked at for Anisa. And he starts with taking this screenshot of iDubbbz's old tweets and captioning it, iDubbbz really thinks he's cooking with the pedo troll thing from 15 years ago, but Ian was tweeting this stuff way more recently. Did he forget? How crazy is that? And then it's tweets from Ian saying stuff like, shut up, N lover, and another tweet saying N lover, and then in 2013 saying Xbox Live for PC. If I ever see your inbred C face in any of my games ever again, I will R you and all of your starving black children. Another post from Ian saying, I will fucking R you, and Ian saying, I'ma R your daughter. And then Ethan Klein continues, and to be objective here, this stuff is way worse than anything my explicitly labeled troll account ever posted. And then Ethan continues saying Ian was 25 while threatening to R people and calling people the N-word, attaching these same tweets and then showing iDubbbz's age at the bottom, 35 today, so 10 years ago roughly he would have been 25. Then he posted the same image again saying, so please Ian, tell me more about pedo troll while you were doing this shit on main. He then screenshots Anisa's story that we read about the skit / fetish content video, and Ethan captions it, why did you like these comments then, freak? You think it's cute to film fetish shit in public in front of children and families? And then it's the first comment at the top from Ultra Quality that we already looked at, and then it's someone timestamping 2 minutes and 42 seconds and captioning it, nut, which is a different timestamp than what's originally shown, but she's standing in the restroom avoiding using it. Right before then she goes out and has the fake water on her jeans. Ethan then continues commenting saying, Anisa says I find it disturbing that anyone could project that while liking comments that say it's fetish content. What a creepy lying freak. Attaching the same 2 comments. And Ethan continues, does Ian have anything to say about this that doesn't apply to everything you've accused me of? What fucking losers you guys are. 2-digit IQ combined. Over on Leftovers H3, DSBat posts these Instagram stories with the caption, the only time Ethan pedo troll Klein will acknowledge his pedo trolling ways is when he has something to accuse someone else of to make himself seem less horrible. And Depth Apprehensive replies, I wouldn't draw attention to the pedo troll account if I were him. And OP says, he says Ian was posting this on main as if pedo troll wasn't using the pedo troll account as the primary promoter of his H3 YouTube account. Insufficient Dakin says, and in my opinion, it's even weirder if you do it on a side account purely for the love of the pedo game like Ethan did. He can say it was a promo effort all he wants, but 99% of that account had no mention of H3 and was just Ethan's random pedo fantasies for no reason other than his own pleasure and amusements. Snoozing Panda replies to OP by saying, well, it's a good thing he apologized for his horrendous behavior and cut that shit out. No? And OP says, pedo troll believes no one can grow or change over the span of a decade simply because he hasn't. Back over to Twitter, Yi tweets out this clip with a caption, Anisa talks about helping guide iDubbbz politically. Also talks about Hasan being the first person she talked to who got it politically.
I was always leftist. Like, that's one thing that's actually true. Like, a lot of people get right on the internet is that I had a very different political position from Ian when I met him.
Being raised Muslim and Muslim. Being raised Muslim and Canadian.
But I think also on top of that, because I met Hasan in 2016, we did like name's Austin. Real name's Austin.
Austin show.
And we were talking politics, and it was the first time that I had met somebody that got it. And I think that, like, I fell in love with Ian because I think, yes, he had a certain idea of how the world worked, but I could like, you had a ton of empathy. You cared deeply about people and things. You just had a very
warped. I was super warped.
Yeah. So I feel like when people kind of outreach the hand for you, it helped you realize that, like, okay, these concepts are not, it's more, I don't know who I am yet. And I feel like you're figuring out who you are now more, but you've always cared.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's like the basis that a lot of people see in the content cops, is they see a lot of passion and a lot of care in their own way, right? It's like fucking, you know, obviously things could be handled differently, more maturely, but I think that's what they're seeing. And they're like, you shouldn't apologize for those. You were doing something right.
And Tectone replies, called it. Sweet Corn Edgeboy says, the most important thing about empathy is you just talk about how much empathy you have and tell other people they're bad because they don't have empathy like you do. Donut Operator replies to the clip by saying, no comment, lol. Peace replies, one-shotted by mid-pussy into becoming a libtard. Tail as all this time. It's a Gundam replies to the clip by saying, already knew that. Cool Hand James says, lol, she banged Hasan. Over on I Miss the Old iDubbbz's, Chip Kipling posted these screenshots with the caption, iDubbbz has hope for the future. If he can just get more grass touchers on his side, he will be golden. And it's a message from someone whose name is scratched out saying, yes, I think he's really starting to find his niche. But not gonna lie, I think Ethan's harassment campaign has been kind of effective. I mean, almost all the comments I see in iDubbbz's videos are haters, and the boxing coach thing was pretty devastating in the eyes of the public. And iDubbbz replies, I also think it's been effective as a smear campaign, but it's really only for the chronically online. Grass touchers couldn't care less. Ideally, we get more of those. And One Face Thumb replies, he's one stream away from literally fixing everything and finding his new audience, guys. Millions must watch, billions even. And Comfortable Bug says, just one new vid addressing the drama. Oko Phalem says, I hate H3 and iDubbbz. Am I a minority in this sub? And OK Traffic replies, I only really started watching H3 more because of the drama between him and Hasan. I try to watch his pod occasionally, but when it's not about drama, I really could care less. And Newton replies, I love drama too. Ian Washburn knows that. That's why he desires Ethan's reply to him, so we keep watching him. And Bears Zeus replies, grass touchers. Bro, there's no fucking grass touchers that waste their time watching fucking Twitch. Twitch is the antithesis of grass touchers. It's unironically for people who are chronically online. And Dick Dickers replies, yeah, I heard grass touchers are more into Ice Cube shape reviews. And HPDR says, the only people who have the time to watch long form streams where there's a chance absolutely nothing happens are children and the unemployed. Chip Kipling also puts this clip on the I Miss the Old iDubbbz subreddit with the caption, iDubbbz now saying he never liked the H3 podcast and hated going on there. Claims Ethan has no friends.
Said, you and Ethan weren't ever close friends, but how long ago was it when you realized that he wasn't a real friend and it was just about content for him? I mean, that's always been the case. Like, you're friendly to do content together, but like, I didn't like the way that he was doing his fucking show. Like, I didn't like that shit. I didn't like that he brought on Dax Flame and essentially told him to do, like, to get angry and start drama with Charlie Puth. That was like a whole like premise. After we did the Dax Flame documentary, Ice Cream Man, he brought him on. He's like, oh, this will be the angle for my show today. You know, I didn't like that, you know? And he thinks that it was awesome that he brought like Anisa and I on when we were like going through drama and shit. But it's like, no, that was still like not fun for us. Like, so a lot of the things that he thinks of as like this great benefit that he bestowed upon us, it was just like a lot of that shit was just like it is what it is. Like, it exists. I can't say that any of it fucking helped me. I was already doing well view-wise without any of that. But yeah, it's just like a mutual thing. A lot of people do that. I would say like you can't, like a lot of these people that you collaborate with online as like a fellow creator, you essentially, it's like, it's a partial endorsement of their channel where it's like, I like this person's stuff. They like my stuff. And we can get mutual benefit from each other. Like it hasn't been terribly deep. Like, and as much as he tries to make it seem deep, it's not deep. It really isn't. And I know that because I've been through a lot and I know what a fucking like a real friend is. This stuff is not even close to real friendship. Not even remotely. And I do believe that Ethan is confused about that sort of shit because I do not think he has too many like super close friends. And you know, I understand that. It's hard.
Excellent Pack replies, then why did you go on the show, you fucking fuck? And OK Bite replies, either he's changing the story or he's a manipulative evil snake that wanted to keep in good eye of the almighty Klein. And Excellent Pack says, like, when he eventually has a fallout with Hasan, is he going to be like, duh, yeah, I know it looks like I liked being at his place, but I really didn't. Duh, the Nazi sword was Anisa's idea. Ainz Nico says, I'm not a backstabbing snake, guys. I was always a fake friend. Does he think this makes him look good? And Ginny Tanaki replies, I'm a filthy fucking liar. Anything nice Anisa and I ever said about Ethan, Hila, or the podcast was a total lie. Now believe everything I say when I tell you my coach and his dumb as rock wives are lying losers. And Dars says, truly no one can match the tactical genius as trying to come off as more trustworthy, only to come out a week later as someone who is deeply manipulative and deceptive. Surely this will get the public on his side. Ethan then tweets out this clip from the H3 podcast with the caption, Ethan Klein responds to iDubbbz's and Anisa claiming they always hated him and the show. Throws it back to a clip of iDubbbz's calling him his best friend and tweets of Anisa shouting out the podcast and fans.
Forgot what year we're in. It's 2021. You can't shit talk your best friend and just act like it's all sunshine and rainbows. That's not gonna happen. I don't know what world they're living in.
But I know he's doing some shit, but I mean, call me his best friend. Even jokingly, right? If he's being like hyperbolic, then it still means something, doesn't it? It still means something to me. Behind. You know, dumbass, weirdo, freak, loser, stink, low IQ, caveman, virgin. Let's see, iDubbbz's, blah, blah, blah. All the times Anisa glazed us on social media. These are great to review. Anisa, who's never liked us, yet despite coming on our show all the time, saying that the H3 community is the last sane place on the internet, and she loves them so much because they're so supportive of her. She says, I'm so excited. This is from 2023. I'm so excited to go on the H3 podcast again. My socials get a lot more fun and welcoming after the last time I was invited on because I got so many new followers from it, and literally all of you are so nice.
Waydot replies, iDubbbz's, I like Ethan. Anisa, no you don't and you never did. iDubbbz's, you're right, I hate him and I always have. Grown man with kids is still throwing a fit every day in an attempt to get the hate mob inflate his rapidly dying career. And Mr. Freeman replies, iDubbbz's doesn't have kids. And Spev replies, talking about Ethan retard. And Freeman says, I know you retard. I find it funny how you simp for a guy that wouldn't even piss on you. Oh, I know why. It is due to you being an anti-Semitic piece of shit who hates Jews. See, that's why you simp for iDubbbz's. Birds of a feather. And Spev replies, everyone that doesn't like Israel is an anti-Semite. Then Yeats tweets out this clip with the caption, iDubbbz's calls out his former boxing coach Mike for lack of communication.
Well, not like communication. Like, I don't know, man. Like, sorry, I'm not from fucking Dagestan, you loser. You know, you actually have to talk to me. You can't just like grunt and point in a direction. You actually have to communicate. Sorry, I'm making you talk to your client. Fucking idiot.
And Lane replies, iDubbbz's on multiple occasions broke down crying hysterically because the training brought back trauma of him training with Sam Hyde and being trolled. I'm not kidding. Sam Hyde broke him. Donut Operator says, sounds like a solid trainer to me. Listen to him and you'll be stronger. I wonder if Trainer Mike would come to San Antonio and train us. Howling Mutant says, fuck did Dagestan do? Night Haunter says, wow, so Dagestan nationals are so stupid they communicate in grunts and points? What will the Hassan Piker gang think of this one, iDubbbz's? Hero Hay says, I've literally trained Muay Thai with pro fighters from Thailand who have level 0 English and still learned lots from them. And I'm very grateful that they came all the way to the States for a bit to teach us. This guy's take is a major skill issue and also disrespectful. Ethan then responds to this clip on his Instagram story down here with the caption, bro can't even pretend to be woke. Also posting the picture of one of iDubbbz's recent videos titled, Are You Scared of Immigrants? And DSBat01 posts this Instagram story on the Leftovers H3 subreddit with a caption, Ethan Pedo Troll Klein woke scolds iDubbbz's. And OP follows up saying, keep in mind, while Ethan attempts to use iDubbbz's video against him, he notoriously took the side of the racist when iDubbbz's uploaded it. And Gooey Goon says, he literally was pro-racism because the video was against racism. And FTD says, Ethan's entire ideology is the opposite of whatever the person I'm hating on thinks. And Gooey says, just like pedostony. Murky Barracuda says, what point does Ethan think he's trying to prove with this? I literally don't understand what he's trying to get at, Lamau. And OP says, he thinks Dagestan is something iDubbbz's made up to be racist because Ethan is extremely racist and that's how his brain works. An educational chef replies, it's literally like saying you're from fucking Alabama or whatever. It notoriously has the highest rate of inbreeding of any of the Russian republics. And OK Buddy Quackery says, I think it's more that he's not someone who doesn't speak English who only has to take direction by pointing and yelling. I don't think it's an inbreeding joke. Khabib and Islam both famously joined a gym in San Jose where they trained under a coach before speaking any English. And Airveer replies, I don't have context, but that's not how I interpret it. Dagestan is known for producing many wrestling and martial arts champions. So I'm hearing it as him saying, I don't have an innate knowledge of fighting, so a coach has to give me better directions than just grunting at me. iDubbbz then saw this post on the Leftovers H3 subreddit and reacted to it live when Yeet tweets out this clip with the caption, iDubbbz responds to Ethan calling out his boxing coach comments.
Fucking idiot. Like, I don't know, man. Yeah, you have to talk to me. It's the truth, buddy. And no, I'm not from Dagestan, where all the elite UFC MMA athletes come from. Sorry. I'm actually a YouTuber. So you have to talk to me. I'm a sweet little innocent YouTuber. Yeah, this was me talking about my boxing coach. And I was describing at the time. I mean, again, like Ethan can't even come up with these things on his own. Like this is definitely scraped from his subreddit where they're coming up with the attacks. It's like, yeah, like, of course he can't. Like, this is the problem with has always been fucking Ethan's problem. Is he's not fucking original. He can't even form an attack. He needs his Reddit to do it. I don't think he knows that's a real place. Yeah, I don't think he does either. Well, let's read the comments. Keep in mind, while Ethan attempts to use iDubbbz's video against him, he notoriously took the side of racists when iDubbbz uploaded it. That's true.
Tuka replies, bro, you literally used a snark subreddit for one of your points in Content Cop, attaching a post from Not New and Not Old One. Radical Moderate says, this dude's entire personality is Reddit. He took the worst social media app besides TikTok and made it his personality. He then also tweets out this clip with the caption, iDubbbz hints that he may be done talking about Ethan Klein.
I don't think there's any, like, I think people either get it or they don't at this point. It's just like fucking preaching to the choir, I think. I think a lot of people understand it. And, yeah. It's just all surface level dog shit now at this point. I think history, we just need to let time pass is basically all we need to do. We just wait. It's a little bit unsatisfying. Like, I want control, for sure. I want to affect change. But I've done about all I can do on the pedo troll front.
And Osteoferocious replies, until someone says otherwise, attaching this screenshot of Anisa. Splatoon Conservative says, iDubbbz will say that now for the 5th time he'll stop talking about it, but then days later starts talking about it. And Ian says, kind of like how he was done talking about the drama a month ago, then immediately started talking about drama. Chip Kipling also posts the same clip on the I Miss the Old iDubbbz subreddit, with the caption, iDubbbz is seemingly wanting to surrender with the H3 drama. And Anon6 replies, he really thinks it's gonna get better if he quits the drama. And Miserable Alfalfa says, I mean, I was gonna tune in to see how bad he is in Megabonk, but I forgot I got banned for saying Ian has turned into a lolcow. And Stuart Wilson replies, his chat was in slow mode, and I was banned for asking why chat was in Ian mode. Weird Squirrel says, would Hasan surrender? No. White Hasan needs to double or triple down. And OP says, when in doubt, always ask yourself, what would Hasan do? And Jenny from Hell says, and then do the opposite of that. The Schizo Post replies, he's already failed the Hasan school of content creation by acknowledging his flaws in any way. He will never become anything like Hasan as long as he has an ounce of remorse or shame. Shout out to our tier 3 members, internet representatives Akiko, Salsad, Coldest Bandito, and Captain Crash Out. Thank you guys so much for the support, and I'll see you all in the next episode.